Hi everyone, my name is Matilda and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing a tutorial for this scrunchie. I filmed this intro earlier, but I didn't like it because of the awful sound quality, so I'm making a new one where I've already made the scrunchie. There are two different types you can make, a normal one or a fuller one, and I'll teach you how to make both versions in this video. This tutorial is for beginners, but beginners who already know basic stitches, for example, single crochet, double crochet, and slip stitches. I might make a beginner series for people who don't know those things, but I will explain the stitches while I use them. And without further ado, let's get to the video. Just a quick disclaimer, I am using US terms because I am more used to them. Even though I'm British, I prefer to use them. So that's why you'll see terms like single crochet and double crochet in this video. So for this scrunchie, I'm going to be using blue yarn. And what you need is obviously yarn, a hair bubble, and a 4.5mm crochet hook. So what we're going to be doing is crocheting around the hair tie, so our scrunchie is going to be really elastic and stretchy. So we're going to start by attaching our yarn with the hair tie, and you just put the yarn through and then you attach it with a knot or a double knot. For me, I'm just going to do one knot because I don't want it to be too bulky. And then I hold my yarn with my hand, so I wrap it once around my pinky, again around my pinky, go in front of that, and then behind that, and then in front of that again. That's usually how I do it, but if my hands are too sweaty or too hot, I'll do something else. We want to make sure that the yarn goes over the hair tie, so when we start the hair tie, we can just crochet these ends as we go. So now that we've got this, we put our hook under the hair tie, yarn over, and chain one. There we go, now it's securely attached. Now I'm going to start by putting single crochets all around the hair tie. So I put my hook underneath, wrap the yarn around my hook, yarn over again, and pull through two. That is your first single crochet. Let's do that again. So you go underneath the hair tie and that bit of yarn that you're going to weave in as you go. Get the yarn around your hook, yarn over, and pull through two. That is your second one. I'll do that a few more times and hopefully you guys can understand what I'm doing. If you don't, I might create a tutorial just for the different stitches if you don't know what they are, or you can watch other people's videos on how to start if you're a complete beginner. Go underneath, yarn over, and then go through two. Go underneath, yarn over, and pull through two. I'm going to repeat this all around the hair tie and I'll get back to you when I'm nearly finished. Okay, so now that I'm nearly finished, I still have a little bit left, but because I want this to be stretchy and I don't want the hair tie to show much, I am going to stretch it a bit more, and you can see how much space we already have. And you can see how much space we now have. So I'm just going to oh my god, I can't speak. So I'm just going to continue my single crochets, stretch it out once or twice more, and then I'll have my base finished. Right, now that I have enough space, I'm going to slip stitch in the first single crochet that we did. So we're not going to slip stitch into the chain there, we're going to go into this single crochet. So we yarn over, pull through that, but instead of yarning over again, we just go through that little loop. That is a slip stitch. And now we're going to start a second row. So we're going to chain two this time because we are doing double crochets. For this pattern, we're going to be increasing twice every stitch. That means putting two double crochets in every single crochet. And this chain two now counts as a double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through. Now, since it's a double crochet rather than a single crochet, we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'll do this a few times more. So next stitch, we yarn over our hook, go under, yarn over again and pull through. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And again, because we are increasing 2 in every stitch, I'm going to place one more, yarn over, put in through the gap, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to do this for the entire row and I'll get back to you when I'm done. Now to finish off row 2, we are going to do a slip stitch into the top of the chain 2. So this is the first double crochet that we did, and this is the chain 2 that we did. So we're going to go into that top chain that's right next to the stitch. So we yarn over, pull through, and instead of yarning over again, we're just going to pull through. Remember to loosen it a little bit and go through that loop. We're going to do 2 chains to start off row 3. So now we're going to go through this big gap, and since the chain 2 counts as a double crochet, we're going to do 2 more double crochet in this stitch, because for row 3 we're going to be increasing by 3 rather than 2. Yarn over, go through that hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That counts as your second double crochet. Yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that is your first 3 double crochets, and you're going to be doing that in every single stitch. Again, I'll get back to you at the end. Okay, so I just finished the last row, row 3. As you can see, it's starting to look more like a scrunchie, and now we are going to slip stitch into the second chain again. Now all that we need to do is fasten off and weave in our ends. So to fasten off, we chain 1 really tightly, and then we leave some excess yarn with our hook, and then we cut off a few inches of yarn. We also cut off this little end that we weaved in at the beginning. Pull this out and tighten, and all we have to do now is weave in this end, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I usually choose a thicker plastic one just because it's easier to weave in my ends with. And a trick that I use to get my yarn into the needle is I wrap it around the main body of the needle, and then I take it off so you've got a little loop, and then you put the eye of the needle through that, so there's a little bobble there, and you just kind of pull it through, and there you go. Now we're going to choose a side to weave in. I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to go through a few double crochets in a zigzag pattern. This is what I mean. So I go through some of the stitches, over here for example. Let's go through that chain really tightly so we can get rid of that little bubble at the top. And then we go through some of the stitches. So there's this main part of the stitch that kind of stands out, and I go through that point in all of the double crochets. Now I'm going to put my yarn through my needle. I'm going to pull through. And then I'm going to turn my scrunchie over, and I'm going to go back, but this time I'm going to go through row 2 rather than row 3. So it's going to be a little bit of a U shape. You can either do a U shape or a zigzag pattern when you weave in your ends. I typically do a U shape, but you can do whatever feels most secure and more comfortable to you. I go through a point in between the 2 rows before I start going through any of the stitches, if that makes sense. And then I start going through the double crochets. And also while you're doing this, make sure that it doesn't show from the other side. This is why I used a high contrast colour to the yarn that I'm already using, just so I can make sure that it isn't showing through. Pull it through. And that's all I'm going to do for this project, because for all my other scrunchies, nothing's gone wrong, nothing's undone. I don't want to do any more, so I'm going to end it off here. Just stretch it a little bit and snip it off. And that is your finished scrunchie. This is what it will look like. So you can adjust this pattern for a more full scrunchie. And what I did differently for this one is I increased by 3 for the second row and by 3 for the third row. So there's more increases, meaning it's fuller and bigger. This is another example of the same exact pattern I'm doing currently, except I used a smaller yarn. This is colour changing yarn, so it has a little bit of random bursts of colour. And after using your scrunchie, you might not be able to see your hair tie fully. I don't know if other people care about this, but I do. I kind of move the flaps, that's what I call them flaps, and I move them up and down to the next flap until the hair tie is shown. This is where the 2 flaps meet, and then it goes up, and then you can see the whole hair tie. You don't have to do this, I'm just really picky, but that's totally up to you. Here I am wearing the one that I just made. Thank you for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe and tell me in the comments down below what you'd like to see next.